So, so when I said I was writing the story, right, someone actually sent me a message and said, I hadn't even started writing the story, to be honest. It said, I can't believe you're writing this story. Was it really that serious that you had to write a story? How about you just make it fiction? And I replied, fiction kill you, dear. Fiction your nyash. Fiction my butt. That's what I said. Like, how can you say that, especially when you know the story? You see, so people would rather you just don't talk about it. And since then, he hasn't spoken to me. Another one sent me a message, said, that doesn't know me, just saw my picture, said, yeah, when you can't cook, you can't clean, you don't respect a man. In fact, why would a man not abuse you? You know what? People actually believe that abuse can be justified. No, there's no justification for abuse, okay? Get that one thing. The other one wrote, what did the other person say? I looked at my picture and sent me a message. You know what? It's African from somewhere. Hey, you know what, my sister? Just seeing your face like this, I know that you are a troublemaker, and that's why you are abused. Any woman that has red lips and open teeth must be a troublemaker, and that's why he was beating you. Okay, first of all, my story wasn't even out then. It was just an advert saying that there was a book coming, and this is what I'm getting. The other one comes from someone who I've known since I was probably 8 years old, which was quite shocking, but these days nothing shocks me anyway. So there was an advert saying that I've got a book coming out. And the first thing he says to me is, hey Dot, what did you do to your husband for him to have done all these things to you? Guess what I gave him as a response? My response was, I swear, I suffered this guy. There's nothing I did not do to him. I suffered him, in fact. Because that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that the victim was a terrible person and they deserved the abuse that was given to them. So if that's the response you want from me, is that the response that you have in your head? I'm not going to come to you and say, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong and they just abused me, so that you can tell me, oh no, but there must be another side of the story. I don't have time for that, okay? There is no justification for the abuse. And if people want to go about victim shaming or making a victim not speak out, then that's up to you. But my job here as Dot Ikwerige Archie, who talk to Dot, is here to tell victims to speak out and to think about their children, because there are long-term impacts on children. Now, for these people that sent me messages, I can just imagine someone who's being abused going to them to say, see what I'm going through. They'll probably say, what did you do, madam? Daily, I tell my story in every possible way, with the hopes that someone will wake up and walk out of an abusive relationship. I own my story. And when I speak, and when we speak up, we identify ourselves and we become allies, because we are definitely stronger together. I tell my story with pride, not with shame. While some think my story should be hidden, some are ashamed on my behalf. Hey, you are ashamed on my behalf. My own shame. Oh, you bear my shame upon your shoulder. Ah, God, I beg you. Or think I should be ashamed. Do you know what? It took me a while to be able to talk about my story, so I can understand a bit about shame. But to be honest, yeah, please. Whether you're ashamed of your story because you think people are going to say something, they're still going to say something anyway when you stay in that story, or you hide it because they know anyway. To talk about it, because you will be saving yourself. It's the process of healing, and you will be saving someone else. Think about yourself as a savior. I will continuously shout about it, being the voice of many voiceless men, women, and children out there. This book is an expose of the disregarded damages of domestic violence on children, whom I have dubbed, for the purpose of this book, the Silent Watchers. Okay, think about your children, okay? All right, children first, yeah, the relationship secondary. This book serves as both a manifesto and a helpful guide to readers It is based on a true story, my story, and its high rating in explicit sexual violence and trigger warning makes it unsuitable for children. All right. With a clear aim of inspiring those working with victims of domestic violence, their children, and the society that witnesses domestic violence, this body of work will goad reflections and improvements on how these events are managed while simultaneously revealing what really goes on behind closed doors. Now, because I live domestic violence, we did the whole hiding and stuff, trying to hide the problems in the family because you believe that at the end of the day, things were going to change and you didn't want to talk about it and not knowing what it was and what it wasn't. So you go out there in public and you put out a show. So people don't know what it is, but there were signs that could have been seen. So the book is for those that are in domestic violence that don't know what it is. So you can know that this is it. This is this thing that doesn't feel right. It is domestic violence. It's for those that are watching, that see patterns that don't seem right. And they could step up to say, hey, do you understand that there's something not right there? For professionals, doctors, teachers, professors, lecturers, nurseries, schools, so they can see patterns in children's behaviors and parents and say, something's not right there. This book will give you an expose to what goes on behind closed doors. And that's the idea of The Silent Watchers. Now go grab your copies and don't miss out. The book is available on Amazon worldwide. Nigerians pre-order, it's coming to Nigeria. Grab your copies of Silent Watchers. Don't say I never told you. My name is Dot Ikorige Achiru. I'm an author.